Always an honour to be with my friend Teddy Atlas. Thank you for giving me your time. So I know everyone wants a piece of you at the moment. Teddy, how's things going, mate?
Good, thank you.
So we had a bit of a briefly chat last night, but I really wanted to get into the fight, I think, of the year, Canelo versus Terence Crawford. Looks like it's locked in for September. Please tell me what's your opinion on that fight and the ways that both guys can win that bout.
I thought we were going to do this in 5 minutes. How the hell are we going to do this in 5 minutes if I'm going to answer all that? But
six and a half.
All right, I'll do whatever for you. I appreciate it, that you're a nice person. So, listen, I think it's an intriguing fight. I think there's been a lot of intriguing fights happening with Turkey Al-Sheikh in the last year and a half. Fights that have both been, I think, wanted by the fans and needed by the sport. He's been helping the sport in that way, bringing us fights that, again, are intriguing, are competitive, are the fights that we weren't getting and that we need to get. And this is one that falls into that category. Look, it goes back to the question in the history of the sport, one of the old time-honored questions: who wins, the real good big man or the real good little man? And it asks all those questions that come with that. And that's one of the reasons why it is such an interesting fight. You can look at it two ways. You can look at it as the obvious advantage of the bigger man, who's very experienced, who's been a world champion a long time, Canelo, tremendous fighter. You can look at him and, say, oh, with all his experience, his skill sets, his resume of fighters that he's fought, champions, everything, that with his size, he's gonna have the advantage. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's dangerous, all those things. And then for me, I can look at the other side of the ledger, and I look at the smaller man and say, wait a minute, he's faster, he's craftier, he's experienced too. He's been a champion too. He can wind up where the other guy could be too strong and too powerful. He could be too fast, too slick. And he's also shown that he carries power fairly well, moving up. I know with the Madrimov fight that a lot of people would say, no, Teddy, he didn't carry his power to the 154-pound class. Now he's going up even another one to 168. How are you going to reconcile that? Again, he wasn't really able to catch Madrimov, who was much better than people gave credit for, having only 10 fights with his amateur background. They didn't understand how crafty he was. He wasn't able to catch him real clean. But again, it's not going to come down to power. If the smaller man's to win this fight, he's going to negate the power of the bigger man. And he's going to find a way to make his skill sets the ones that are the most important in this fight, that dominate this fight. Speed, again, craftiness, the ability, to just again negate the power of the bigger man, the ability to disarm the bigger man. In the sport in the United States, baseball, which is a sport that's been around a long time, not longer than boxing. Boxing's been around longer than any other sport, but baseball, national pastime in America. Sometimes you get a pitcher who throws the ball and he throws 100 miles an hour. His power just overwhelms the batter. But then you get a guy who only throws the ball 80 miles an hour, but he moves the ball around. He hits corners, he changes speeds, he uses his guile, he uses this, he keeps the batter off balance, and he disarms the batter. He takes the bat away from the batter. You gotta love that. I know a lot of people love to see the ball go over the fence and love to see the home runs, love to see the knockouts. I get it, but I love the science. The real fans, they love the science, the sweet science, where if it's not the science of a pitcher hitting strikes, moving the ball around, like I said, taking the bat out of the hands of the batter, it's the science in our sport of boxing, where a guy can disarm the fighter, take the power away. And that's kind of what Crawford has the ability and the task of doing, where he's going to have to go into the fight and be that pitcher who hits corners, who changes speeds, who does take the bat out of the hands of the hitter being Canelo in this kind of analogy. So I look forward to it. You can make an argument for both guys.
Of course.
I think that both guys are special, but I think Crawford has special. I know he hasn't fought the level, or not just the level, but he doesn't have the resume as thick, obviously, as Canelo does of so many fights and so many champions. But I tell you something, he's got enough, and he's got enough for me. I think I've been in the business 50 years. He's got enough for me where it's caught my eye, where I believe that there is something very special. I'm not saying they're both not special, but there's something very special about Crawford, that he has that it factor. And I think that at the end of the day, that'll be the intangible, if he's to win this fight, that it factor, instincts, all those things that go into that it factor, that at the end of the day they will show. And maybe the smaller man may have his day with the bigger man.
Do you think boxers that move now, like Lara, gave Canelo problems for Mayweather? You know, obviously gave him problems, he beat him, and even Amir Khan was ahead on the scorecards. Do you think like a mover and a faster guy like Crawford is the style?
I just said that. I thought I just said that. Yeah. Hopefully I explained it right. Yeah. I just said that. If he's going to win, his ability to use his legs, to give angles, to show guile, to show cleverness, to be slick, to show you what the sweet science is all about in that kind of dimension. Look, there's different dimensions to the sweet science. Roberto Duran used to display the sweet science. A lot of people didn't understand that. They thought he was just a seek and destroy guy, a caveman. No. He was a guy that, he was a counterpuncher, but he was aggressive. He forced you to punch, he made you miss, and he counted. But he did it in an aggressive fashion. So a lot of people that don't know the sport couldn't appreciate that level of what he was doing, the expertise of what he was doing. They couldn't appreciate it. But that was a display of the sweet science in itself. So Canelo understands the sweet science. He counterpunches. He knows how to set traps. He can do all those things too. But I think that if there is to be a downfall to him, if there is to be an exploitation in this fight, and you try to exploit things in a fight of weakness or so on, or strength of yourself, I think it would be along the lines of what I said earlier, where Crawford would like to exploit maybe the slower feet of Canelo, where he can't close the gaps as quickly as he would want to, especially at this point in his career, where he's getting up a little bit in age. And he would take advantage of that, beat him to the mark, and then, change distance, get to the side, give angles before Canelo can come back. So I would think that he would like to keep him more balanced, obviously a little bit the way that Lara did, a little bit, but that was a long time ago with Canelo. But a little bit like Lara did, obviously Mayweather did, which was a real long time ago, along those lines.
No, thanks a lot, Teddy, and I really appreciate that. I personally, I think Crawford, if anyone's going to do it, it's Crawford. If anyone can pull it off. What do you mean if anyone can pull it?
Let's not forget, Bivol beat him.
Up in weight though, but of course.
But I mean, Bivol...
That's another one, Bivol, we forgot. I forgot to mention him.
Well, I didn't forget.
You didn't forget, Teddy, got me there. Mover and boxer, gave him troubles, Do you think there's been a decline to Canelo at all in the last few fights?
Not a decline. I think there's been a transition, a change, a metamorphosis, which happens when you get older. Sometimes it's like a wine. It can get better. Where you get smarter. You slow down in certain areas, but you get better in other areas. He doesn't throw as many punches. He doesn't engage as much, not as active with his hands as much. No doubt about it. But he is better in other areas. He's more concise with his punches, with his selection of punches, where he doesn't waste anything. Where when he throws, he's throwing it, in a specific manner to be accurate and obviously to be impactful. like he's shown his last couple of fights. When he did throw, bang, he threw the uppercut at the right time. He threw the hook at the right time with Belanga, to score the knockdown. The uppercut obviously was with what was it? With Dubois' fighter.
Jamie Munguia.
Where again, when he did throw, he didn't throw as much, but when he did throw, it was at
count.
Yeah, it was at the right time, the right place.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Teddy, mate, and so good to see you again, my friend.